All right, I want to talk a bit about this gun buyback program. Spent $1 billion apparently. I mean, it shocks me and it doesn't. Spend all this money, we haven't even started to scratch the surface of the intended goal of the project, on top of which the intended goal of the project is completely, totally inept. I mean, we're talking about taking guns away from law-abiding citizens to solve gun crime of criminals. These are different guns and different people. Like, I don't understand how we have this debate. I've held a gun once in grade 10 for science class, a video project we were doing. Um, luckily I haven't really had to ever, have the need for it. But for people that, hunt, I mean, this is important 50 years ago, 100 years ago, let alone now where, some people who are really into a strict diet want to get food from a nice place, a small farm, maybe they can't find it. Maybe they don't want that grocery store over processed, whatever, coming out of some giant processing plant for various reasons, maybe health, maybe ideological reasons, whatever, and maybe they want to go hunt. You're going to say that we can't do that? I mean, they've been taking away long guns, taking away all sorts of guns. They said they weren't going to take away. Trudeau at one point said that we're going to donate the guns to Ukraine, to the front lines. Like, tell me you don't know anything about anything. How many different ammunitions are they going to use? What caliber is, every caliber is going to be ineffective in a war setting. Like, dumbest comment ever actually said that. So anyways, here's Pierre's take on it in the House of Commons on this liberal muppet, just conflating two totally separate issues, being totally intellectually dishonest. It's very, very frustrating, because I guess they just bank on the fact that not a lot of people watch Question Period in the House of Commons. I think if people did, they'd be enraged. I can't watch it. There's some of these these content creators that watch this every day and bring us this material. Kudos to them, because it just frustrates me so much listening to these people avoid the question, and no one's ever asked to, or forced. No one asked them to answer the question. No one's ever forced to actually answer the question. They're allowed to just evade and dodge. It's very, very frustrating to watch. I can't do it, so kudos again to those that do. Thank you for bringing us this stuff. But yeah, let's take a listen.
By freeing rampant gun criminals and wasting billions of dollars of police and border resources targeting law-abiding, licensed, trained, and tested firearms owners, this government has overseen a 130% increase in violent gun crime. But over the weekend, the Minister of Public Safety accidentally told the truth, and he was recorded doing it. He said that the gun grab is not worth the money, that it will go over budget, and it would be better just to lock up the criminals, but that they're going ahead with the bad policy because it's good politics. Does the Prime Minister agree?
Let me be very clear, Mr. Speaker. Canadians want responsible gun control. They wanted it in 1989 after a man killed 14 women at École Polytechnique.
No, we wanted criminals locked up. That's what we wanted. Gun control doesn't stop criminals, because criminals don't follow laws. I don't know how this is still a debate.
They wanted it after 6 people were murdered at the Quebec City mosque shooting.
This program is no different than banning sober drivers because drunk drivers kill people. It's forcing people to drain their swimming pools in their backyard to fight mosquitoes, because while mosquitoes actually breed in rivers and lakes.
And they wanted it after the biggest mass shooting in our history, where a man opened fire and killed 22 people in Nova Scotia.
No, we didn't.
Mr. Speaker, why are the Conservatives against keeping guns off our streets?
They're not. They're not. What?
We don't have time for politics. So why is this minister caught on tape playing politics with guns?
And why has this leader of the opposition voted against every single gun control measure that he has been in Parliament for?
I know. Because they didn't do a thing to solve the problem, and they were terrible liberal policy. I think that's why.
That minister did have a real conversation. Unfortunately for him, he was caught on tape, caught on tape, admitting that the gun grab is a waste of money, caught on tape, admitting it would go over budget, caught on tape, admitting it would be better just to lock up the gun criminals who are actually doing the crime. Why is it that liberals only tell the truth when they don't think anyone is listening?
Ooh, I know this one too. I know. I think it's because they're just terrible at their job. I wouldn't even call them incompetent. I would call them treasonous, because incompetence sort of implies it implies that they're trying to help Canadian citizens. And as much as I would like to believe that they are this dumb, no, they're not. They're just treasonous pieces of shit. They're super corrupt.
Mr. Speaker, let me reiterate, it's actually a good thing that this conversation was caught on tape.
Really? Oh, that's an interesting perspective.
While this government blocks criminal justice reforms that would lock up gun criminals, they want to go ahead and take nearly $1 billion away from border security and police officers to go after licensed, law-abiding, trained and tested hunters and sport shooters. Why won't they drop the politics and save lives?
I know the answer to this one too. They don't care about our lives. And on a serious note, as much fun as I've had making this little video, the reality is as we bring in more criminals that can smuggle illegal guns, the need has now increased for law-abiding citizens to have guns in their homes. Whereas this is something that we really didn't need before. And still, thankfully, in many areas, you don't. But, you know, the old saying, right? When seconds matter, police are minutes away. And that's not a fault of police. That's just facts and logistics, you know. But that's the reality, is that now we're dealing with a situation where some areas are so dangerous that the only way to defend yourself, you know, would be to have a gun in the home. And the need to have that is increasing in those areas and in other areas where it used to not be a problem. This is totally absurd. It's just another example of terrible policy, waste of taxpayer funds, you know, that could obviously be put into other areas that, you know, are going to be far more effective at battling this issue. Lastly, I mean, again, it's very much just like, you know, banning the pharmacy because of drug trade, you know, out on the streets. Like it is so asinine. And anyone that can't see this as totally asinine is, you're either corrupt or you are one of the dumbest Muppets that thankfully I haven't come in contact with, because no one that I talk to, whether they have guns themselves, feels this way. And this is why we need to get these liberals out of office. They are ruining this country by every single metric that you could possibly measure that matters.
Yeah.